Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there in the first place? You just stand there, staring at the wall, thinking, now what was I doing again? If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. It's one of those little things that starts happening more often as we get older, and let's be honest, it can be frustrating. Even a little scary sometimes. But here's the good news. Memory loss doesn't have to be an inevitable part of aging. There are actually simple, everyday habits you can build into your life that help keep your mind sharp and your memory strong, no matter your age. And today we're going to talk about 5 of them. These are things anyone can do, starting today. No fancy supplements, no complicated routines. Just small steps with big results. So grab a cup of tea or coffee, get comfortable, and let's chat about how you can take care of that brilliant brain of yours. Let's start with something that might surprise you, the power of staying curious. You see, our brains are a lot like muscles. The more we use them in different ways, the stronger and more flexible they become. That's why one of the best things you can do for your memory is to learn something new. And no, I don't mean going back to school or mastering a new language overnight. It can be as simple as trying a new recipe, picking up a hobby you've always been curious about, or even switching up your daily routine. Let's say you've always wanted to paint. Why not give it a try? Grab a few paints, some paper, and just let yourself play. Or maybe you've never tried a puzzle or a brain game. Sudoku, crosswords, jigsaw puzzles, whatever catches your interest. These small acts of curiosity light up parts of the brain that might not get used in your everyday tasks. And that mental stimulation keeps those neurons firing and growing. I once spoke to a woman in her 70s who decided to take up the ukulele. Not because she wanted to perform on stage, but just because it looked fun. She said every time she learned a new chord, she felt like her brain woke up a little. That's exactly the kind of feeling we're after. It's not about perfection, it's about engagement. Now, while keeping your mind active is incredibly important, your body plays a major role in brain health too. That brings us to the second habit, one that can make a world of difference, and it doesn't involve lifting weights or running marathons. I'm talking about regular, gentle movement. Walking, stretching, gardening, even dancing in your living room. These kinds of physical activities increase blood flow to the brain. And when your brain gets more oxygen and nutrients, it functions better. Think of it like watering a plant. A little bit of daily movement helps your brain grow and stay vibrant. There's actually a fascinating connection between movement and memory. Researchers have found that walking just 30 minutes a day can significantly improve cognitive function, especially in older adults. And the best part? You don't have to do it all at once. A few short walks throughout the day are just as effective. I knew a retired teacher who started walking her dog every morning around the same time. She said not only did it help her feel more energetic, but she noticed she was remembering names and phone numbers better than she had in years. Plus, the fresh air and change of scenery lifted her mood, which is another major plus for brain health. And if you can find a walking buddy, even better. Social interaction adds another layer of stimulation. A walk and talk with a friend gives your brain a double boost. But what if walking isn't your thing? That's okay too. Chair yoga, gentle stretching, or even following along with a movement video on YouTube, whatever feels good for your body is good for your brain. The key is consistency. A little bit every day is far more powerful than doing a lot once in a while. And that leads us beautifully into another habit that's often overlooked but absolutely essential: paying attention to what you eat. You've probably heard the phrase, "You are what you eat." Well, it turns out your brain listens very closely to what you feed it. Some foods can boost brain function, while others can slow it down. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up everything you love and switch to kale smoothies, unless you love kale smoothies, of course. But adding in a few brain-friendly foods can really make a difference. Think of foods rich in healthy fats, like salmon, walnuts, or avocados. Berries are another great one, blueberries especially. They're packed with antioxidants that protect your brain cells from aging. And leafy greens? They're like brain fuel. Spinach, kale, broccoli, these all support memory and overall cognitive function. I once met a man who started adding just one new brain food to his meals each week. He said it felt manageable, And over time, it completely changed the way he ate. And the best part? He started feeling sharper and more focused without making any huge changes all at once. So maybe you start by tossing a handful of berries on your cereal in the morning. Or you swap out that bag of chips for some nuts. Little things. Delicious things. That's how new habits stick. Now that we've talked about staying curious, moving your body, and nourishing your brain with the right foods, we're starting to build a strong foundation for better memory and mental clarity. And it doesn't require anything extreme, just a few mindful changes to your daily life. Let's keep going because there's still more you can do to protect your memory and keep your mind sharp. So, we've already started building a strong foundation, stimulating your brain through curiosity, keeping your body moving, and feeding your mind with the right foods. But there's another area that plays a much bigger role in memory than most people realize. And it's something we all need more of, especially as we get older. I'm talking about sleep. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sleep can be tricky. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night, or you toss and turn trying to fall asleep in the first place. A lot of people in their 60s and beyond start experiencing changes in their sleep patterns. But here's the thing. Getting quality sleep is crucial for your memory. While you're asleep, your brain is actually hard at work. It's filing away new memories, sorting through information, and clearing out toxins that can build up over the day. Without enough restful sleep, your brain simply doesn't have time to do that housekeeping. And when that happens, it's a lot harder to focus, remember names, or stay mentally sharp. So what can you do? It's not about sleeping more, it's about sleeping better. Try sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up around the same time each day, even on weekends. That routine helps regulate your internal clock. Also, make your bedroom a calm, cozy space. Turn off bright lights and screens at least an hour before bed. Maybe read a book, listen to soft music, or sip some warm herbal tea, whatever helps you unwind. There's a woman I spoke to once who made a little bedtime ritual for herself. She called it her wind-down hour. No phone, no TV, just some quiet music, stretching, and a good novel. After a few weeks, she said her sleep improved, and so did her memory. It wasn't magic, it was just mindfulness. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, don't panic. That's normal. Instead of tossing and turning, try deep breathing or a short meditation. Sometimes, just getting out of bed for a few minutes, maybe writing in a journal or sipping water, can reset your mind. Now, speaking of mindfulness, let's talk about something that's often brushed aside in conversations about memory, but it's absolutely vital: managing stress. Stress might feel like an invisible thing, but its effects on the brain are very real. When you're under stress, especially chronic stress, it releases a hormone called cortisol. And high levels of cortisol over time can actually shrink parts of the brain responsible for memory. Let that sink in for a second. That means even if you're doing everything else right, eating well, staying active, keeping mentally engaged, if stress is always buzzing in the background, it can still take a toll on your memory. The good news is, you can train your brain to respond to stress differently. Mindfulness is one of the most powerful tools for this. It doesn't mean you have to sit on a meditation cushion for hours. Just taking a few minutes a day to slow down, breathe deeply, and be present can help calm your nervous system. Even something as simple as sitting quietly with your morning coffee, noticing the warmth of the cup in your hands, or listening to birds outside your window, those small moments of awareness help retrain your brain to relax. I knew a retired bus driver who used to get anxious about little things. His health, his bills, even what to make for dinner. But he started a 5-minute morning routine, just breathing deeply and focusing on the present. After a few weeks, he noticed he wasn't forgetting things as often. He felt more focused, less foggy. That's the power of stress reduction. It doesn't erase your problems, but it gives your brain space to work better. And don't underestimate the power of laughter. Seriously. Watch a funny movie, call a friend who cracks you up, or just let yourself be silly sometimes. Laughter lowers stress hormones and boosts endorphins, which makes you feel good and sharpens your mind. Which brings us to another piece of the puzzle that ties everything together: staying socially connected. There's something truly magical about human connection. When we talk with others, share stories, listen, laugh, and engage, we're not just being social, we're actively exercising our brains. Conversations force us to think, remember, process, and respond. And that's exactly the kind of mental workout that keeps your memory in shape. The challenge is, after 60, many people begin to lose those everyday interactions. Maybe kids have moved away, or friends are busier, or we simply don't get out as much as we used to. But isolation is one of the most dangerous things for brain health. It creeps in slowly and often goes unnoticed, but it can lead to faster cognitive decline over time. The good news is, connection can come in many forms. You don't have to host big dinner parties or be the life of the party. A simple phone call to a friend, joining a local book club, volunteering once a week, or even chatting with a neighbor, those moments matter. There's a man I know who joined a local storytelling group, just once a month. He said not only did he love hearing other people's life stories, but he found himself remembering more of his own, even little things from childhood he hadn't thought about in years. That's what connection does. It opens mental doors you didn't even know were closed. So whether it's one friend, a sibling, or someone you met through a shared hobby, don't underestimate the impact of a regular, meaningful connection. Because memory isn't just about what's happening in your brain, it's deeply tied to how you feel, how you live, and how you connect with the world around you. It's amazing, isn't it? How something as simple as a phone call, a walk, or a good night's sleep can have such a powerful effect on how clearly we think and how well we remember. The beautiful thing is, these aren't extreme changes. They're not hard or expensive. They're gentle, natural habits, things that fit into your life in a way that feels good and lasting. And that brings us to one final habit that ties it all together. This one might not sound as exciting as learning a new skill or laughing with friends, but make no mistake, it has a huge impact on your brain's health. It's all about routine and purpose. Let me explain what I mean. When we retire or our kids are grown, or even when our daily responsibilities start to shift, it's easy to feel like life becomes a little more open-ended. And while that freedom can be wonderful, it can also feel disorienting. Without a rhythm to our days or something meaningful to look forward to, the brain can start to slow down. It's like a car engine that doesn't get used much. It gets rusty. But when you create a simple daily routine and anchor it with something that brings you joy or a sense of purpose, it gives your brain a reason to show up fully. It creates structure, which helps with memory, attention, and even mood. Let's say you start your morning with a cup of tea and a short walk, followed by 15 minutes of a crossword or a puzzle. Maybe in the afternoon, you call a friend, do some gardening, or work on a creative project. And then in the evening, you wind down with a book or a calming ritual. These aren't huge, life-changing things, but together, they create a flow to your day that keeps your brain engaged and active. Purpose doesn't have to be big either. You don't need to save the world. Purpose can be taking care of a pet, helping out a neighbor, learning to bake something new, or tending to your houseplants. It's about doing something that feels meaningful to you. There's a gentleman I once met in his 80s who had a small routine of walking to the local cafe every morning. He didn't even drink coffee, but he'd sit there with a book and chat with the staff. That was his ritual. He said it gave him something to look forward to, and it made him feel connected to the world. That kind of simple purpose has a quiet power. It tells your brain this day matters. Because the truth is, when we wake up with something to care about, something that lights us up, it naturally keeps us more mentally present. We notice more. We remember more. Our minds stay sharper because they're being used in meaningful ways. So let's take a moment to reflect. We've talked about curiosity, keeping your mind stimulated by learning and exploring. We've looked at the importance of gentle movement and how it fuels your brain. We've explored how the food you eat can either cloud your thinking or clear it up. We've looked at sleep and how giving your brain rest helps it stay sharp. We've talked about connection, how being with others lights up your memory and mood. And finally, we've touched on the quiet strength of routine and purpose, and how those give your days meaning and your mind direction. Now, I know that's a lot. And you might be thinking, where do I even begin? But here's the thing, you don't have to do everything all at once. Just pick one small habit that feels doable for you right now. Maybe it's going for a short walk tomorrow morning. Maybe it's adding some blueberries to your breakfast. Maybe it's calling someone you haven't talked to in a while. Whatever it is, start small. That's where real change begins. Because memory loss doesn't happen overnight. And neither does brain strength. But little by little, day by day, you can build habits that help your mind stay clear, focused, and alive. You have so much wisdom, so many memories, so much life still ahead, and your brain deserves the best care you can give it. You're not powerless. You're not stuck. And it's never too late to sharpen your mind and protect the life you've built with it. If you found even one idea here that speaks to you, I'd love to hear about it. What's something you already do to stay sharp? Or what's a new habit you're thinking of trying? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one, and I love hearing your stories. And if this video helped you, or you think it could help someone you love, please give it a thumbs up and share it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got so many more uplifting, practical tips coming your way to help you live your best life after 60. You're not just aging, you're evolving. And your mind, your memory, your joy, they all deserve to come with you. Here's to clarity, purpose, and feeling sharp at any age.